These entitled customers deserve to get publicly shamed.
Next.
Not barefoot friendly. Victor gave this establishment 2 stars. Been going to Raven's Nest since they first opened and love the place. Like most businesses on Davis Street, they are dog friendly. Unfortunately, the new management is not barefoot friendly. Neither am I, honestly. Ew. I'd rather not see your feet. I've been in the place numerous times barefoot, and I'm barefoot most of the time for health reasons. Okay, forgive me if I'm ignorant on the subject, but what health reason could possibly need you to be barefoot? Let me do my research. Are there any health reasons to be barefoot? Okay, it can provide benefits, which is totally fair. But arguably, if you're not on a beach somewhere, I'd be worried about your little piggies. Okay? Very worried. I feel like this guy is just saying, oh, I do it for health reasons as a way to be like,
Oh, you're discriminating against me because I must be barefoot. Simply must. For health reasons.
I was told to leave for lack of footwear. Correct, yes. I'm assuming this is a restaurant of some sort. What about the health reasons of the other customers who don't want barefoot Victor around? Sadly, will not be going back. Oh no. Here's a response from the restaurant. Victor, we are compelled by the VDH as well as our insurance company to enforce certain protocols for the safety of the many basic footwear is one. While we absolutely encourage you to live your best barefooted life, you cannot compel a business to take unnecessary risks and incur penalty on your behalf. Had you addressed your concerns with us privately before, barefootedly, I'm assuming? Cheeky. So before running to Yelp, we would have been more than happy to meet you at the door with a to-go beverage, literally meeting you in the middle on this issue. We also encourage you to use these ridiculous rating sites that hold businesses captive to the absolutely arbitrary and unreasonable standards of any person with an internet connection. Clock it. With a little more discretion. Penalizing a small food service business for following the basic tenets of food service is just as unnecessary as you find footwear to be. No notes, honestly. A+ response. Yeah, people are pointing out the line holding businesses captive to the arbitrary and unreasonable standards of anyone with an internet connection. That is so period. That is so facts. Because what do you mean you can penalize a business after you're an asshole in that business by leaving a review? How embarrassing. I want boba. 1 star, not impressed. The staff is young. I didn't realize they had crystal boba, and I asked for 1 pearl, and they wouldn't allow me to try it. The tea there is mediocre. There's too many boba places around to waste your time on a place that has to be weird with you. Okay, a 1-star review because you didn't get a free boba? A response from the owner, Sylvia. Sylvia. Normally, I would sincerely reply to you, pleading to come back and give us another chance, but not today. Let me first give you some facts. I use very expensive, award-winning teas from Art of Tea, which you will only find at one other local boba chain. I come in 7 days per week to personally make sure teas are brewed at proper temperatures. Today included. I taste all the teas and they were excellent as always today. Your assertion that our teas are mediocre is false. You simply have no taste. No, bestie. This person is trying to justify the fact that they're angry at you for not giving them a free boba. You complain that my staff is young. You are correct. And every one of them is a 10 out of 10 from an employment standpoint. Oh yes, we love a manager that sticks up for his staff. Good job, Squishies Boba. I can only assume from your baseless complaining, you're most likely a mediocre worker. Oh, sassy. You didn't realize we had crystal boba? What is crystal boba? I like a boba as much as the next girl, but I didn't know that there was such a thing as crystal boba. Crystal boba, also known as agar boba, is a translucent jelly-like bubble tea topping made from the konjac plant or agar. Unlike traditional tapioca pearls, it requires 0 cooking. It is naturally vegan and offers a refreshing, slightly firmer chew. Noted. So you didn't realize we had crystal boba? Well, it's right there on the menu. Under boba, alphabetized too. Bestie, You're making it seem like that would have helped the situation with someone that is lacking in the intelligence department. And yes, you can't try our boba. Can you walk into a McDonald's and ask for a single French fry for free? No. Please, never come back. Period. I love that. There has to be a group of people that goes around and just like tries free like ice cream, you know? Like they'll go to every ice cream spot on the block and just asks for a free sample, go to the next one, ask for another free sample, and before they're done, they're full from ice cream. It's kind of sad that like the rating system could be totally skewed by one asshole that just decides to wake up one morning and choose violence because they didn't get something for free. I like this comment. I simply cannot go without balls in my mouth. It is a must. Chewy little balls. I need one right now for free.
I think you've had enough tea for today. Let's get you out of here.
1 star. Bunch of losers hang out here and lie about the beer tasting good. A response from the brewing company. Thanks for visiting us. We're sorry the police came and took your beer away before you could drink it. We suggest paying your child support on time next month and not missing your daily breathalyzer test. Oh, well that's tea. No pun intended from the last the last post about tea.
Uh-huh.
Wow, if this is definitely a public shaming that needed to happen. Well done. I'm so glad that these owners are getting in the comments and defending themselves because, like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? You can just go on the internet and write a false review because your beer got taken away from you.
My bottle got taken away.
Stephanie left a 1 star on the exotic zoo. To whom it may concern. And believe me, I will be finding out who is in charge. Oh. I love zoos. However, after our experience today, I am shaking. Okay, so first off, I love zebras and I was excited to see them today. When we took my daughter to see the zebras, I was absolutely mortified by the lack of awareness from the staff. One of the zebras, had the most enormous I have ever seen. Nature, I guess. My daughter started asking me what that thing was, and she's only 3. This is completely inappropriate and highly offensive. What do you suggest the zoo does? Put pants on the zebra? Welcome to Animal Planet. I should not have to explain biological things to a toddler because your handlers are too lazy to manage their exhibits and provide a private area for that kind of behavior. Private area. I can just picture like the zoo attendants. Oh, Willie's got a take him in the back. Be so for real. Like imagine the people working there are on watch and then they have to take the zebra in the back. Please, no, spare me. I expect a full explanation and a refund. That's what this is about. Immediately, or I will be taking this to my local Facebook group. Oh, Stephanie, not the Facebook group. Stephanie's feeling spicy today. I love how that's her blackmail.
I'm going to post this in my Facebook group.
No, please do. Please do. Highly recommend. Just so that you could get publicly shamed by them too. A response from the exotic zoo owner. Thank you for your review. While we do our best to ensure guests have an educational and memorable experience, controlling the romantic ambitions of a 900-pound animal is unfortunately outside of the scope of even our most dedicated staff. As for taking this to your local Facebook group, we wish them strength during this difficult time. No, that's seriously such a good point. A 900-pound zebra with a romantic ambition? Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with that either. The suggestion, provide a private area, I'm sorry, I can't get over it because it's like either the attendant has to take the zebra with the raging to the private area or the raging zebra has to be trained in order to hide its in the private area. So it implies that she either thinks zebras have the same sense of shame about it as she does, or that she thinks that park staff had nothing better to do than to try and train that kind of thing. That is an interesting set of assumptions. The real problem is she's been to enough zoos that this is apparently a new and shocking experience. 3-year-olds ask what everything is. That's kind of their whole thing. At some point, that's just part of the animal, like your nose, is a completely valid answer that requires 0 refund. No, but it's not about giving an answer that will make sense and not embarrass you to your 3-year-old. It's about the refund. She wants the refund. And yeah, I totally agree. If your 3-year-old is just like,
What's that, Mom?
Oh, that's a leg. That's just another leg. Or you could be honest and use it as an opportunity to educate. Like this person here. I did the what's that in a petting zoo at that age. My grandma said, that's his boy parts. And I was just like, oh, okay. And ran off to continue playing. Yeah, it doesn't have to be so serious, you know? Oh, well, you don't have to have the talk about the birds and the bees at that point. My parents even had like funny names for everything. Like your Bejoya was your lady parts. What was it for wee wee? Maybe it was a wee wee. Dookie for I feel like there's a way to like explain it to a 3-year-old. Give me some like terminology that you parents use to describe that kind of thing in the comments. They're always really funny. It ain't gotta be that serious, honey. It's just a pee-pee.
That's my pee-pee.
1 star. Everyone has been talking about this place since it opened and calling it the best local pizza in town. But I had a terrible experience here. I was in last Tuesday and ordered a pizza with extra cheese, which came out with way too much cheese. They did offer to remake it, but the second pizza took a long time, and my kids were getting restless and upset because they forgot to bring their Nintendos. Couldn't you just have taken some of the cheese off if it was too much cheese? Why are we creating problems and then angry when someone tries to solve them for us? What did you expect was gonna happen when you asked them to remake the pizza? When I asked one of the girls working there where my pizza was, she just said they were busy, which wasn't helpful considering they were the ones who messed up my order and I was standing there with upset kids. Okay, again, they didn't mess up your order. They put extra cheese like you asked, and based on your preference, which they were completely unaware of, you asked them to remake it. At this rate, honestly, why is it that you could not have just taken off the cheese that you didn't want? It takes literally 2 seconds. I didn't feel like she took the situation seriously or made any effort to prioritize fixing it. What did you expect them to do? You told them that it was too much cheese. They remade the pizza. They had to cook it, right? And you had to wait. Pizza doesn't just come out of nowhere. You don't just go out to the garden and pluck one off a tree. So overall, it was frustrating and stressful. This is honestly why people end up sticking with big chains. You know what you're getting and how long it will take. I mean, I would argue either or, you're still gonna have to wait for that pizza to be made. So a response from the owner: we remember you. We remade your pizza immediately. Explained the wait and did our best while you chose to take your frustration out on a 17-year-old high school student who has zero control over kitchen times. Congrats. See you next Tuesday. I don't think they actually want to see her next Tuesday. I think they're calling her a and she is. 1 star from Felix. Had my Tesla towed to this dinosaur shop while visiting town, and they refused to even look at it. It's 2026. Electric cars are the future. If your mechanics are too scared of a battery to do their jobs, get with the times or just close your doors. Coffee sucked too. Absolute waste of my time. Okay, are we not like looking up what mechanics and car auto shops actually service electric cars? Because it's not as simple as that. Someone has to be like trained for many years in order to service an electric car, right? Even if one did get with the times, I feel like the times is still gonna be a little bit of a wait to get with the times. Response from the owner: hi there. For future reference, a simple phone call before having your iPad with wheels dropped off in our parking lot would have saved you a tow fee and a lot of misplaced anger. While we're always happy to help out of towners, we declined to touch your vehicle because we're a small town shop that services mostly traditional vehicles. As for us being dinosaurs who need to get with the times, this dinosaur shop is currently fully booked 3 weeks out with vehicles we are actually equipped to repair safely. That was a subtle flex. We don't play guessing games, and we certainly don't risk electrocuting our technicians on high voltage battery systems just to appease a tourist. Best of luck getting an appointment at the closest service station, which appears to be over 100 miles from here. I hear the coffee in the waiting room is fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna call that a nice little slam dunk. iPad on wheels is crazy. A lot of people who don't work in the repair industry probably don't realize you have to pay auto manufacturers for the specialty software to diagnose and service their vehicles. And each auto group is different and must be paid separately. Attempting to work on a vehicle you don't have access to is not only much more difficult, it can get you into serious legal hot water for trying. This is why right to repair is so important. Oh, I feel educated on the matter now. Thank you. For the record, I do think that switching everyone to electric cars is going to be the future, genuinely. But I have heard horror stories of, you have an electric car and then you run out of gas or something, breaks down. And yeah, we're not really up to the point yet where a lot of places will be able to service it. We're not really up to the point yet where there's charging stations for electric vehicles all over the place. In cities, yeah, but there's always the risk, right? That you go on like a road trip, you go out of town somewhere. To a small town also, and the auto shop there seems like they have more business than they know what to do with. They're not really in a position where it's like, oh dang, like we should probably change our marketing and like revamp the business, because they're literally at the brim. They are literally full. Okay? They don't need extra customers, let alone electric iPad on wheels customers. I forget what that tangent was about. What was I saying? I don't know. I started thinking about how often I was saying like in the sentence. See, this is the thing, okay? I understand I say like a lot, but when I'm really worried about what I'm saying in the sentence, I'm not as present. It's kind of like when you're acting on camera and you're really worried about what you look like. That it made sense to use that like. I would just say that if you're going to get an electric vehicle at this point, you got to be prepared for not only not having a charging station when you go on a road trip, but also not everyone being able to service your car. There's people in these comments, source the comments, that say only specific people can service Teslas. So going to a small town in the middle of nowhere, kind of your fault at that point if you expect everyone to be able to help you. 1 star. Absolutely the worst adoption facility ever. Speechless. Would not let me see my own dog. Oh my. Which dog? The dog you were going to get or your old dog that you gave up for adoption?
Correct!
Pause for you, rescue owner. Dear Jasmine, as an animal rescue, we care about our animals first, second, and last. If you surrendered your dog, we do not allow you to see him or her because it traumatizes the animal. Ooh, tea. So let me get this straight. You gave your dog up for adoption and then wanted to go see the dog that you gave up for adoption. Yeah, I would argue that you gave up the right to see that dog. That's not your dog anymore. Being abandoned, honestly fair, is a traumatic experience for them, and seeing you will only give them false hope. Crushing his spirits and making it impossible to adjust. Additionally, when you surrender a dog, the dog is no longer yours. Clock it. You have no rights or obligations to him or her. Like, are they having second thoughts? Why are you going to see an animal that you abandoned? Abandon it and be done with it. Oh, here's a point. I swear people like this think a rescue is like a pawn shop or like a daycare. You can drop your dog off when it's too much work or money to take care of them and then get them back whenever they want. It's beyond gross. That could be what's happening. I really hate that. Dogs really are such special beings. They're so sweet. Their entire world revolves around you, okay? They sit and they wait for you all damn day. And seeing you at the door is the greatest thing to happen to them when you come home. If you're not willing to be that kind of owner that always comes home, then you don't deserve to be an owner, and you certainly don't deserve a right to see that dog. They don't need you. 1 star. This man sold my son's custom birthday cake. Do not go to this scumbag. All he cares about is money. Well, that's awful. But something tells me there's a little more to the story. I love how these reviews, some of them are so vague. And I love the response from the owners because it shows what the review is really about. It's actually a very interesting observation on human behavior when people feel slighted, right? Or how, if you have like a confrontation with someone and they'll go and tell, because that's what they're doing. This person probably had some sort of confrontation or they feel slighted by someone, and the first thing they do is they go and they write a review. They're probably going around telling everyone they know a version of the truth that fits their narrative, which is why it's so satisfying when the owners respond and tell the real truth. The owner of Mike's Custom Cakes and Desserts responded. I contacted Rachel with pictures and a direction for pickup link several hours before her scheduled birthday party. I texted and called twice each, but didn't hear back. Party time came and went, and still no word. Figured it was a no-show, so I sold the cake while it was still fresh. The next day, Rachel texts to ask when she could pick up her cake, explaining her car had broken down. I wonder, did her phone also break down? It is a basic courtesy after someone has done all this work for you to communicate to them that you need to reschedule. This owner and the shop did everything they could to contact this person. No response. And then somehow they're mad that a day later they got rid of the cake and had to sell it to someone else. I would argue that if you're choosing not to respond, then you are ghosting that business. And they could be out money because they spent time and paid for materials to create that for you. And they assume that you're not coming. So they have to make the money back somehow. Also, I would argue that a day later, the cake isn't going to be as fresh anyway. At this time, I did not require prepayment on all custom orders. So Rachel paid nothing and she got nothing. Oh, okay. Interesting. Rachel. Interesting, Rachel.
Oh my God, what?
All he cares about is money, says the person that no-showed and didn't give him any money. What a turd. No, seriously. Yes, I'm really sorry, but small businesses... Here's a news flash for you guys. When you run a business, that business usually cares about money, unfortunately, for people who think that they should care about something else, because businesses can't run without money. And some of these businesses are barely breaking even, especially people in the food industry, right? So many, like how many restaurants can you think of that were so amazing, but they only last maybe 4 years? There's a very high percentage of restaurants that don't even make it past their first year. In Canada, about 17% of restaurants fail in their first year. 49% survive past their 5th year. So that means half of all restaurants can't survive after 5 years of operation. These places are barely scraping by, okay? Yeah, you're goddamn right they care about money because there's people who work there that need to pay their bills, okay?
They only care about money. Greedy small business that's barely making it by.
Oh, here's an interesting point. I absolutely do not believe she rescheduled an entire birthday party because her car broke down. What? That is a very good point because the birthday party was on a specific day. So what happened to the birthday party? The party was always intended to be the next day and she was trying to scam a discount. Well, since you made it already and you can't sell it to anybody else since it's a custom cake, that's a very good point. I like this comment. I don't believe customer reviews, especially when they're bad. I'll read them and then get to the end and wonder what really happened. Clearly, they're leaving a lot of information, i.e. their behavior out. Thank you to owners who write in to set the record straight with the truth and with what actually happened. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good practice, right? I know of a restaurant that I went to recently that had a ton of negative reviews, and I was really curious as to why that was. I still went with a group of friends recently, and I had the most amazing experience with them. They took care of us. They gave us free food, free drinks. They were so kind and chatty, and they made our girls' night so special. I'm so glad that I didn't listen to those negative reviews because I actually took it upon myself to write a positive review after to kind of even things out. I had a great experience. So take negative reviews with a grain of salt, guys. 1 star. Arrived at the dress shop only to be turned down at the door. No prior information about their policy was provided, and my baby, who was peacefully sleeping, became a casualty of their rigid rules. The fact that I drove over an hour to be met with such inflexibility was not only frustrating, but also incredibly disappointing. A lack of communication and consideration for customer situations marred what could have been a positive experience. What is this really about? Hey Ellie, Laura, the owner here. Just seeing your review, and unfortunately your review is quite inaccurate. Smiley face. We do not have you on our records as a bride, so assuming you're friends with a bride that shopped with us, when I looked at my records, we do have one bride around your time frame that did have a friend show up after the appointment started with a baby. We asked your friend, the bride, if she wanted to communicate with you about the adults only, no children policy she had known about and agreed to when booking her appointment, and she preferred for us to handle it. Our booking process requires each bride to book their appointment through our website, and the booking form has a box the bride must check that states, by booking with us, you have to agree to our policies, guest count, the bride. Plus 1 to 6 adult guests max, no swaps, no children, no exceptions, no outside food or drink. It's always so incredibly awkward and frustrating for us when a group either doesn't properly communicate our policies with their group or they do not think we will enforce the policies. The experience and environment we strive to create for our brides is really special, And it is super important to us to ensure each bride has a consistent and amazing experience. So we take enforcing our policies seriously. Thanks for your understanding. Oh yeah, so that's what they were talking about. So you were upset that no one communicated with you, which is fair. Like, I'd be annoyed too if I traveled an hour with a baby and no one told me there was no babies allowed. However, I actually find it really frustrating that you're taking this out on the business instead of the bride, who had a duty to let you know that these were the policies. I also really hate that you're not even a customer. You showed up to this bridal shop. You're not spending any money. You're there to support your friend, which is a nice thing to do. But you're writing a negative review about an experience in which you didn't spend any money at this establishment, and you're being really vague and saying they don't like kids, oh, they're not flexible, they treated you badly, and it's like, dude, that's not what happened. It doesn't surprise me that this bridal shop doesn't allow children, to be honest. There's a lot of really expensive bridal gowns in bride shops. Some of them go up to like, tens of thousands of dollars depending on the shop. And to have a kid, I know it's a baby, but like, I understand there's no kid policy and there's no food and drink policy, because who wants a kid running around and ruining thousands of dollars worth of merchandise? That's totally fair and valid. And it probably is in place due to someone who brought their kid and ruined a dress and refused to pay for it. Okay, some interesting notes in the comments. Ellie didn't just get a slap down by the business, but by her friend, the bride. If you notice, something tells me the bride probably has dealt with Ellie being a problem before. It is entirely possible that the bride did let her know. She probably did let her know that she couldn't bring a baby, okay? Then she and her baby showed up anyway, expecting flexibility. There's a reason why rules like this are in place, okay? That was my first thought. She's not gonna listen to me when I tell her anyway, so you do it. Hell, maybe she even did tell Ellie and Ellie just wasn't having it. Good point. Both things are feasible. Ellie is that friend that refuses to get childcare and brings her baby everywhere, whether appropriate or not, and then plays the victim when others aren't having it. Yes. Someone pointed out this quote. My baby, who was peacefully sleeping, became a casualty of their rigid rules. A casualty? That's hella dramatic. This is so dramatic, babies don't want to weigh in on wedding dress decisions, literally. Your baby didn't become a casualty. You poor thing, and your dead baby. Diana left 1 star on Little Caesars. I have never, in my 65 years on God's green earth, been spoken to like this. I stopped by Little Caesars last night after a church meeting. I love that church is included, right? Because it automatically, I feel like she's bringing that up for a reason. And it's like, I am a God-fearing woman. I deserve to be treated as such, better than other people. So I stopped by Little Caesars after church. I was famished. I saw the employees still closing down and thought, okay, a quick pizza before I go home. I walked up at 9:03 p.m. Yes, the sign says 9, but it's 3 minutes, people. Wow, not even 8:58. You fully showed up when they were closed. And because you went to church, you feel as though they should serve you. The ovens were clearly still hot, and a girl was right there counting the register. Closing times are not a suggestion, okay? I figured surely slapping a pre-made pizza in a box isn't rocket science. Hold on. No, because I mean, based on the, a few stories ago, the person that had to sit and wait for a pizza to be made, it's not a matter of slap a pre-made pizza in a box. It's a matter of sitting there, waiting for the pizza to be made, wanting to go home, and probably not being paid either. These businesses tend to be pretty strict, okay? They're not going to pay you if you end up staying late. So it's not as simple as slap a pre-made pizza in a box. Diana. The door was locked, but she saw me. I tapped on the glass and I was totally polite. She cracked the door and said, "We're closed, ma'am." I explained that I just wanted a hot and ready pizza. I mean, that's the whole point of the place, right? She rolled her eyes and said, "We already threw them away." Thrown away? At 9:03. I said, "You're telling me you threw away perfectly good pizzas 3 minutes after closing?" She shrugged like it was nothing. So I reasonably said, "Well, can you just make one really quick? It's literally dough, sauce, and cheese." She was just standing there doing nothing. Right, because she's done work. She's not your slave. That's when she crossed a line. She said, "If you're gonna act like trash, you can go dig in the trash out back, because that's where the pizza is now." Oh shots fired. And shut the door in my face. I've never been spoken to with such disrespect in my life. Little Caesars used to be about service. Apparently now it's about attitude. That is hella funny. Let me see if there's any relevant comments. I love that people also clocked. Of course, Diana had to be sure to mention she was there after a church meeting. There's a reason she mentioned it. Diana and her high and mighty. I am a servant of the Lord. I deserve free pizza. For the record, the people that work at Little Caesars are probably making minimum wage. They probably could not wait to get home. I'm assuming this was a Sunday night because you were at church. They're not getting paid enough to deal with your bull, Diana.
Hold up, ladies. You don't get a pass just because you're old. If you're gonna act like an I'm gonna treat you like an
1 star. Went for a party after the rain. Our older mother-in-law fell in the mud and we tried to walk in the grass and we were told to get off the grass. Never again. A response from the owner. Hi, VJ. So I'm so sorry your mother slipped and fell. I'm also sorry for any misunderstanding at admissions. As we explained yesterday, y'all were walking past the admission booth without checking in. The admissions staff person was trying to get your attention. You were not responding to her. Instead, you kept walking. It had nothing to do with walking on the grass. Much like if you walk into a movie theater without stopping, they're gonna say something. Ah, yes. Okay, so I'm guessing they didn't pay. Tried to sacrifice mother-in-law to avoid paying entrance fee, but got caught. 1 star. 1 star. My mother-in-law slipped in the mud while we were trying to enter without paying. That sounds like poetic justice. 1 star. I showed up 10 minutes before closing and the waitress looked angry with me. Honey, if you want to close earlier, then change your hours. The menu had too many options and it stressed me out. Oh, I already hate it. They served chips and salsa before the meal, and when my food came out, I wasn't even hungry anymore. What? Okay, so don't eat the chips and salsa. Have a couple of chips, not the whole thing. My life is too beautiful. My wife is too pretty. The waitress said things like, no problem, instead of you're welcome. Are you serious right now? That's basic manners. What? What is this really about? They must use warm glasses because the ice in my drink melted too fast and watered down my drink. Portions were so big I got a to-go bag. Oh no! You're getting a good value for your money. Let me write a 1-star review. I left the bag in my back seat on accident and now my car smells like food. This is so funny. Angry emoji. Probably won't be back until they fix their attitude and menu. What is happening? What is going on? Response from the owner. Let me get this straight. You're angry because 1, you showed up right before closing and were upset that our staff looked like they were closing. 2, you ate so much free food that you weren't hungry anymore. Oh my God. 3, ice melts. 4, we gave you too much food. 5, we didn't personally escort the to-go box out of your backseat. We're sorry. The laws of time, temperature, and personal responsibility didn't work in your favor that evening. Our hours, ice, manners, and menu will remain unchanged. No, because that's fully what's happening. Why are we complaining? Like, you showed up 10 minutes before closing and they actually served you. That is ridiculous. They not only served you, they gave you free chips and salsa, a lot of food that you could have then taken home and had another meal out of, and you're complaining that you forgot your to-go bag in your backseat and now your car smells like food. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Can you imagine what the rest of the day holds? Too much sunshine? Too many birds chirping? Insufferable human. There is no other word to describe this human other than insufferable. That is the perfect word. A+ response from the owner. 2 stars, first of all. They call it a lake, and it is way too big to be a lake. The water was way too cold, and there were gross, disgusting little things in the water like bugs and tiny bits of seaweed. I'm sorry, sir, this is not a pool. They really need to skim these out in advance. I told the park about this and they seem to blow off my concern. Correct, because you are, in fact, in nature. Go to your local pool if you don't want none of that. Additionally, there were way too many teenagers. They were running around yelling and flaunting their mobility. Flaunting their mobility. My goodness. What do you expect them to do? Not allow the teenagers in the lake? Must be at least 35 years old to go in the lake. Oh my God. I can't get over flaunting their mobility. Is that how some old people who I'm assuming can't really get around well feel about people who can be mobile?
These people flaunting their mobility. Never in all my days have I seen people flaunt their mobility with such disregard for those who have no mobility or limited mobility. No one's allowed to walk, ever.
Oh my god, I'm screaming. Okay, this one's called Spoongate. Last Saturday, had dinner with 2 others at your restaurant. 2 ordered dessert, I did not. Server brought 3 forks. I said, please take away. She said, just in case you want to taste. I found this inappropriate. Why should a server assume I wish to taste or dip into another's plate? Needless to say, it did not sit well with me and prompted me to send this email. Lack of etiquette ruined my dining experience at your restaurant. Ruined! Prompted to send this email. I could see a lack of cutlery affecting a meal, but an extra spoon ruining a dining experience. My God. The outside world is not for the OOP. For realsies, some of these people, it really is baffling to me that they have the courage to leave their houses with all these horrible things that happen to them. If this is how you're going to behave, I would just stay home. If everything bothers you, like an extra spoon, chips and salsa, might be best to stay home. Miserable, miserable people. Melissa, 1.5 stars. Ordered a 32-pound order and expected a complimentary papadom. What is a papadom?
Do my research.
Papadom. A thin, crisp flatbread or wafer from an Indian subcontinent. The Indian subcontinent. Oh, that thing. Okay, yes, those are yummy. When I opened the bag, no papadom inside the bag. What is going on in this kitchen? It is an unwritten rule that all curry houses provide at least a free papadom with every main dish ordered. This will be the first and last time I am ordering from here. I'm sure the 10 pence you saved on not giving your customers papadoms will really help your business. Again, people are just mad about not getting free When did all takeaway give a free papadom? You not buy papadom, you not receive papadom. Do we read mine? If you want papadom, you order it, silly woman. Why don't you come to shop and say it to our face? Fact. You're too scared, obviously. You're barred from our shop. Do not order again. If you do, we will send burnt papadom. Bye-bye, ex-customer. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the video on the screen right now, and don't forget, subscribe.